All right, folks, Sydney Sweeney is at it again. Now, not showing off what the good Lord has blessed her with. No, actually, she's back in the producer seat. So we've covered her a few times on the show, and I've specifically given her props for being proactive behind the camera. You know, of course, we see her in front of the camera all the time, the shows, the SNLs, the whatever. But she's a producer too. She has her own production company, and was it Immaculate? I think was one of the ones that she did, and me and the wife watched that. We enjoyed it, and I know she's got some other stuff going out there too. But I just thought it was cool because she's young lady, beautiful, one of the it girls right now, I guess you would say, and she's got a lot going for her, where she can just kind of ride that gravy train and, the in front of the camera, success and whatnot. But she's getting in the producer's chair. So it's great to see that. I think that's fantastic. I have a huge respect for people who realize that it's not just about being in front of the camera, that there's so much that happens behind the camera, that it needs people that have that eye, people that have that passion. And so she apparently is one of them. I've given her props before for it. I'm going to give her props again for it. This is a cool little story I ran across over on Deadline. Let's see. I'm going to pop this guy up. Yeah, so she's teaming up with Michael Bay. Now, to be fair, it's not just the two of them. They're not alone in this. There's other folks producing and whatnot. But it says, again, from Deadline News, it says, Michael Bay and Sydney Sweeney team up or team on movie adaptation of Outrun, video game at Universal. There's a little image there in the background. Do you guys remember that game? It was an arcade game. Now, I don't know if it came on Sega. I didn't have a Sega. I had Nintendo. And then I had PlayStation. And then my brother had Nintendo 64 and stuff. So we were Nintendo, PlayStation folks. Never had the Sega. I did have a Sega. Was it Game Gear? Yeah, the Game Gear. And man, I wish you wish you had your old stuff. I know some of you guys probably do. I got my Talk Boy, if that means anything. Talk Boy. You guys remember that? Classic. Got look. Of course, from a movie that Donald Trump was into. Just point that out. And that was actually going to be a story I was going to cover last week, was Christopher Columbus being the filmmaker behind Home Alone 2. He's like, oh, I can't take Trump out. He might deport me. Whatever. People have no spines and no sense. But anyways, back to this. Yeah, I remember this game at the arcade, playing it a lot. Now, I don't remember like if there's a story to it or anything. Like Grand Theft Auto has a story. Mario has a story. I can't remember if this was just racing or what. I feel like it was just racing. So a couple of thoughts with this, and I'll read a little bit here, and then I'll give you my thoughts. It said, with the Minecraft movie owning the box office over the past month and HBO The Last of Us returning with a bang, Universal is looking to add its own video game adaptation to the mix with the help of two big superstars. Sources tell Deadline that the studio is developing a feature adaptation of Sega's iconic arcade video game Outrun, with Michael Bay attached to direct and Sydney Sweeney aboard to produce. Jason Rothwell will pen the script. Bay will also produce alongside partner Brad Fuller through their Platinum Dunes banner, which has a first look deal with the studio. The project is in development as of right now. Sweeney is only on board to produce. Toru Nakahara, maybe I said that right. Don't know if I did. Shout out, Chris. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 through 3, Knuckles, Golden Axe will also produce for Sega, and Shuji Utsumi, President COO of Sega Corp, will oversee the project on behalf of Sega. So I think that's really cool. You have all those hands in there. I just hope they don't all get in the way. And of course they will. But hopefully, Sega will make sure it stays true to form and everything like that. So I don't know. We'll see. But Toru Nakahara. Cool name, man. Cool name. Anyway, it says plot details are vague. Sega's Outrun series is a franchise that originated from some of the most successful arcade games in the world during the 1980s. The game pioneered a new genre of driving games and spawned an electronic music subgenre aptly called Outrun. The unique combo made it a worldwide hit. Since then, numerous installments have been released, including home console versions, and it continues to be one of Sega's flagship franchises. While the industry is having a moment with video game adaptations, Universal is no stranger to adapting them into hit movies. Outrun is slated to follow the Super Mario Bros. Movie and Five Nights at Freddy's, which grossed $1.4 billion and $290 million, respectively, in global box office. Sweeney may be one of the town's busier stars in front of the camera, but over the past year has become active on the producing front as well. She recently produced and starred in her neon horror pick, Immaculate. Again, we enjoyed it. And is also producer on the Christy Martin biopic, in which she also stars. Never heard of that one. Bay Fuller and Platinum Dunes have also been busy recently producing A Quiet Place, Day One. They also produced the thriller Drop alongside Blumhouse. I do like me some Blumhouse now. Yada, 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 yada. That's it. Okay. So, here's my opinion on it, or my thoughts on it, right? So if you have an established IP, right? Like the comic books have so much lore and so much backstory and so much you've got to like stick with to please those fans. And there's detail, so much comics. With a game like, say, Grand Theft Auto, again, there's so much story there, so many characters there. You know, if you could definitely stay true to it and make a great film, which I'm waiting for somebody to offer that gig to me because I think I could do that. I've enjoyed those Grand Theft Auto games, you know what I'm saying? Call me. But as far as Outrun goes, again, I don't remember there being much of a story other than you're just racing. But it to be fair, it's been a while. If that's all it is, there's a couple things here. One, there is a story and they're going to try so hard to stick to it that it may be dated, it may not fit, it may not work. I don't know, there may not be enough of a story there where they really struggle, or there's not enough of a story there and they really get to play ball and just be creative and again, throw something at the wall and see what sticks. And take that old, video game, the old concept of everything and run with it in a really unique, really cool way. This Michael Bay we're talking about definitely has a way of doing that. Of course, we've seen with the Transformers what he's done there, which is just a meme, but it's great. I love Bad Boys. He did fantastic with Bad Boys, and there's other films too. But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential with this if you put the right minds in place and the right creativity behind it. And again, I would love to see, and I don't just. Again, I hate to keep throwing her out there because she's, this haughty actress or whatever, but, she's proving that she's more than that. And she's proving that she's passionate about art. And maybe it's just passionate about making money. I don't know. But she's passionate about making art and making art happen. And that's a huge thing. And again, as an independent filmmaker, that's a huge part of it, is finding people who support you and support your vision enough to back you, either personally, financially, or help get the funds for you, or help, allocate and get all the things that you need. Huge. Very rare do you find people like that in your own inner circles. You've got to really, really work hard to find those folks. And I say that some of you watching may be filmmakers are like, I just thought I was going to be a filmmaker on Monday, and by Tuesday I had a feature film in the can. Not me. Been working at it for years. Whatever. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this. Do you guys remember Outrun? Is there a story? Am I just not remembering it, which is totally fine, but I don't know. But let me know in the comments if you remember it, if there's a story, what your thoughts are on it. I am very optimistic that we get something, if not great, if not good, entertaining. I'm sure we'll get something entertaining. And you know what? At this point, that's more than what we're getting at the box office for most of these other films. Let me know what you guys think.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.